Hey, TNT here. All right, so today we're going to be working on the 1985 CR250 barn find. Today's mostly going to be just getting the cylinder ready and getting it back on this bike and hopefully firing it up. All right, so let's get at it. Hopefully, yeah, you guys can see that. She's all in pretty good shape inside there. Going to get the head off and going to do a quick hone on it. So just looking at this head gasket, I don't really see any issues with it. I'm not sure why it was leaking water out of the top. Let's have a look inside there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. That exhaust port in there looks pretty good. I don't see any more buildup in there. All right, so we're going to put the rings in the piston now and check for ring end gap. The end gap for this piston, this diameter bore, should be somewhere between 10 and 15 thou with probably have a limit of about 18 max. So start by making sure that you got a little bit of lube on your ring and just get it started into the bore. And then what I like to do is I just take my piston, turn it upside down, make sure that it's nice and square to the bore, and then I just slide my ring down about an inch into the bore, making sure that it's nice and square. Once I've got that down there, then you take your feeler gauge, which I did have lying around here somewhere. What the heck did I do with my 13th thou? Okay, so I got a 13th thou feeler gauge right here, and I'm just going to insert it. If you look inside the cylinder there, you'll see right there the gap in the ring. So I'm going to take my feeler gauge and I'm just going to put it into that gap and see if it fits. So this is 13th thou, and it fits. Okay, so now we're going to need to step it up to 14 thou. So I can tell you right now that I'm not going to have to worry about filing the rings at all, because I'm above 10 thou, which is the bottom end for your ring gap clearance on this piston and rings. Okay, so right over here on the top of this ring there is a T. We want to make sure that we get that T facing up. It stands for top. You want to make sure that you're putting your piston in the right way. Some manufacturers will have intake stamped on the top like this one does. Other ones will have exhaust stamped on that, or they'll have an arrow pointing in the direction of the airflow and fuel that comes into your cylinder. All right, there we go. Got the rings in the proper position. And there we go. Piston is started into the bore. Yeah, you're pretty much guaranteed that you got it when you're at this stage, because if you didn't, the piston wouldn't slide into the bore very well at all. It would be binding like crazy right now. Okay, so all right, so I ran into a bit of trouble trying to get the cylinder on there with the power valve in place. So I took the power valve out. Well, the power valve actuator, it's actually called, I think, on this bike, because the power valve is actually a little pot that goes in front of the cylinder. So we're going to reinstall this now, and then we'll be ready to put the head on. You know, that should be enough fuel to get her going. So what do you guys think? You think it's going to fire up? And how many kicks is it going to take to fire it up if it does? And hopefully that kill switch works. So hopefully we don't foul up that plug. Let's see what happens. Just give her a couple of soft kicks here, get some fuel in there, and let's see what happens. She's got lots of compression. Well, that does not seem to want to start. Let's pull that plug out, see if we're getting fuel to it. Let's give it a few more kicks. Oh, I think I might have heard something there. Well, what do you know, guys? She fired up. She's making a lot of smoke from all of that engine oil that I used to lubricate the cylinder when I put it all back together. And the location that I'm starting at, I don't want to create a lot of smoke all at once, so we'll just leave it at that. She sounds good. That's a new top end in there, so we're going to have to go through all the heat cycles on it. I'm pretty stoked about the fact that she just fired up like that, and it actually sounds really good. I got to take that carburetor apart for whatever reason. That float is either out of adjustment or is not working properly. The float needle's not working properly, so it's not stopping the fuel from going through the carburetor. Kind of ticked off about that, actually. I mean, I had that carburetor completely apart and totally rebuilt, and I closed the needle off, tried to blow through it. I could not blow through it for the life of me, and now all of a sudden it's leaking. So I don't know if maybe I just need to adjust the float height. It could be a very good possibility, or maybe I didn't get it totally clean and there's a little piece of crap or something that is sticking in there. I even tapped on the carb and it still is just draining fluid out of it, or draining fuel out. I'm gonna give it another couple of taps here, because sometimes that's all it takes. I'm gonna turn that fuel back on and see what happens. Oh, there she goes again, darn it. No, it's definitely gonna have to be fixed up there. All right, everyone, I think that's going to wrap it up for the 1985 CR250 Part 2, Part 3. I can't remember what part we're on because of all the camera issues that I've had. But I'm pretty excited. The bike fired up in probably less kicks than what I expected. A little shocked that carburetor is leaking. I did have that carb completely dismantled, completely cleaned up. I held the float needle closed. I blew on it as hard as I could. I could not get anything to pass through it. But obviously there's some other issues there. So I'm going to pull that carburetor apart again and either order a carb kit for it or see if I can find any issues in there. Now it's pretty much just cosmetic issues that have to be changed on this bike. I do want to swap out the back tire. It's got a monstrous back tire on here that is rubbing the frame. I don't know what the guy was thinking when he put that back tire on there. And then it's just, you know, like I said, cosmetics, handlebars, gotta clean up all the plastic, put some new decals on it, and that's gonna be about it. And this bike should be ready to take out to the track and see how it goes. We'll run the new top end through its heat cycles, and I think this bike is gonna rip it up, and I'm pretty excited that it's even more original than the last 1985 CR250 I had. So I wanna thank everybody for coming out and watching my videos. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, share with your friends, leave some comments, and I'll catch you next time.